Hi everyone, welcome back to Learn English with Erica. We are on part 3 of our Welcome to the Neighborhood series. So this series has been about when either you go to a new neighborhood or a new apartment, or when someone else moves into your area. Things that you can do or say to either get more comfortable or help someone else feel more comfortable. Today, the third part, we're going to be talking about some common mistakes that people might make when you meet a new neighbor. So what I'm going to do is give you first the mistake, tell you why it's a mistake, and then give you kind of a solution to the mistake. So I'm going to talk about 6 mistakes in this video. Are you ready? Here we go. So number 1, when you first meet someone, one mistake that people sometimes make is to overwhelm or make someone feel uncomfortable with giving them too much information. So you do not want to overwhelm your neighbor with too much information. What that means is basically it's when you're giving too much information at one time. It's great to give information to someone else, especially if you've been living in the neighborhood for a long time, but you want to do it little by little. So if you want to say something like, oh, welcome to the neighborhood. I know of a great coffee shop around the corner. Let me know if you want the address or something like that. So you can keep it short, friendly. It's okay to give some information, okay, but don't overwhelm and tell that person everything you know all at once. Okay, so number 2. The second mistake is being too forward or too intrusive. So being forward or intrusive is kind of like overstepping a boundary, right? So if you're just meeting someone, you don't know them very well, so you don't want to kind of tell them everything or ask them questions that they don't want to answer yet because you don't know each other very well. So it's okay to ask a question here or there and let the other person decide if they want to answer it. But saying things like, so why did you move here? Do you like it so far? How old are your kids? So one of those questions might be okay, but not all 3 at once, right? So if you keep asking questions, they might find it a little bit intrusive. Okay, so instead, you might talk about something that's a little less personal. So like, what do you think of the neighborhood so far? Or how are you finding everything? Okay, so that's kind of a solution, a little bit less personal and not as forward or intrusive. A third mistake some people might make is offering help that isn't genuine, right? So no one says that you have to offer help to your neighbors. If you want to, that's great, but don't offer help if you're not being sincere about it, if you don't plan to actually help, right? So if you're not sure if you'll have time to help, or if you don't know what they need help with, you could say something like, maybe if you need help finding a good restaurant, let me know. So you're offering help. It doesn't take a lot of time to give recommendations for a restaurant. So that's a way to offer help and not invest too much time if you don't have it. Okay, if you are really good at plumbing and you want to help your neighbor with plumbing and you're willing to do that, let them know, but don't offer help that you don't plan on giving, right? So that's the third mistake. Mistake number 4. When you meet someone, you might be excited that there's someone new in the neighborhood, but the mistake that some people make is talking too much about themselves, right? It's good to be able to talk about yourself, but it's also good to be able to listen, right? So the mistake is when you're talking and you're not listening to the other person, that person feels like it's not a two-way conversation, right? So they might feel a little bit put off. They might feel like, this person really isn't interested in me, right? And so that might ruin your chances at what could have been a good friendship, right? So balance the conversation. This is the solution. Balance the conversation with you telling a little bit about yourself and then waiting and listening to what they have to say too. All right, mistake number 5, complaining about neighbors or the neighborhood. So in any conversation, it's really not okay to complain about other people, because the new person in the neighborhood or your new friend may have a completely different experience with that person, right? So you don't want to talk about your neighbor like, oh, the neighbor next door is always blasting their music, playing it so loud, right? So maybe this person that you're talking to also likes to listen to loud music. You never know, right? Or, I hate this neighborhood. It's so noisy at night, or something like that, right? So the neighbor's going to feel like, oh no, I made a mistake coming to this neighborhood. So instead, keep the tone positive and mention some positive things about your neighbors. So if you have a neighbor that's not your favorite, that's okay, but you must have another neighbor that is really a good person. So talk about that positive neighbor and say, you know, we have some really great neighbors. I saw that you had kids. So-and-so 2 doors down has kids too. You should get to know them. Or you could say something like, the neighborhood's nice most of the time. Sometimes it gets noisy, but for the most part, it's really quiet and a great place to live. So you're staying mostly positive in what you're talking about. And the last mistake is not respecting the other person's personal space. So personal space is the area around the person. And different cultures have different ideas of what is friendly and what is too much, right? So you want to respect your neighbor's personal space. That means don't stand too close to them, or don't, try to come in their house if you haven't been invited yet, right? So it can make the new person feel uncomfortable or overwhelmed, right? So it's better when you have a new conversation with a new neighbor to maybe keep a comfortable distance. Don't be too far away, but don't be too close, right? And if they invite you in and you're interested in coming in, then go ahead, go in. But if they don't invite you in, then just hang out in the front yard or on the stairs or outside your apartments, right? And then at the end, you can just say something like, well, it was great meeting you. I hope to see you around. Okay, so you're giving them their space and not making them feel uncomfortable. So those were the 6 mistakes that I came up with that can happen when you're either meeting someone new for the first time or when you're meeting a new neighbor, which is essentially the same thing. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have just moved into a new neighborhood and you're excited about meeting your neighbors, or maybe a new apartment. Tell me about your experience. And if this was helpful, like, subscribe, and I will do some more videos, and I hope to see you then.